We're here with Mielke from OneUp.com, Executive Editor.
Executive Editor.
On the session number 12 of the Kojima Productions Report. You know, for the past few weeks this has been Ken and I, it's been very lonely in this studio together. But this week, we are welcomed. We're so lucky to have, one of the most well-known and, can you say well-respected writers in all of the gaming industry is James Mielke. And we're so, lucky to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for asking me down here, Ryan.
Yeah, and what are you doing in Japan?
I'm here on business, and I've been seeing a few companies, and luckily I was in your neck of the woods, so when you asked me to come down, it was like, great, I'd love to swing by Kojima Productions.
Right. And so you were just kind of hanging out in Roppongi?
Yeah, I was sitting around having a cup of coffee,
right,
killing some time, and checking out the sites, do a little shopping, but no ramen trips today, no graveyard ramen trips.
Yeah, we never got around to doing that last time.
Yeah, we did.
The graveyard?
Don't you remember?
Oh, you mean that was the graveyard one?
That was the graveyard ramen.
I didn't know that was the graveyard ramen.
That was the graveyard ramen. I've got the proof on my phone.
Oh, I remember that place. I mean, it was cool and pretty tasty, but I don't remember a graveyard anywhere.
That's because it was at night and we couldn't see it.
That place looks like such a dump from the outside.
It is a dump.
Even inside, it's pretty dumpy.
There's no denying that it's a dump, but I guess that's part of the charm. It's like, hey, do you want dump ramen? Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah.
Well, then that's the place to go.
And it's actually just a walk from the studio. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Right down the street.
And when you're there, that leads into something that, I want to talk about a little bit.
Yeah?
Last time you were here, you were here on business to interview Mr. Kojima for the big official PlayStation Magazine cover with Mr. Kojima and your big cover story for OneUp.com.
Right.
And it turned out awesome.
You like that?
Yeah.
What did Kojima-san think?
Oh, he was totally pumped. And the thing is, once that issue hit newsstands, because OPM is it's all over the place. It's all over Barnes & Nobles, you name it.
People like the PlayStation.
They love the PlayStation.
I mean, it's popular.
And then he would be getting these emails from his friends like in the States, and they would say, "Hey, I see your face everywhere I go now."
Really?
Because it's at all these bookstores, and he was totally pumped about it. And
that's the effect we wanted. We wanted to have impact and for people to see Kojima and learn about Kojima.
Right.
And I think the interview really brought people a lot closer to him, because you don't usually read interviews where you talk to him. Mm-hmm. It's always about like, oh, Metal Gear this,
right.
Zone of the Enders that, Boktai this. It's not, hey, what was it like when you were a kid?
Right. And it kind of sets people off guard, at least in Japan, when you ask those really direct questions.
Yeah. I think most editors probably, I don't know. I'm lucky because I have a certain comfort zone with Kojima-san, so, every time we see each other, it's like, there's no ice breaking. It's all just jump right into it.
Right.
So that's the benefit that I have of speaking with him.
Yeah, he was a lot more comfortable speaking with you, and he was a lot more open.
Yeah.
It takes him a while to get comfortable with a writer. You spearheaded this OPM cover with Tom Byron, the editor-in-chief. And I remember I came into Tom's office when we were just talking about this opportunity. It hadn't been decided yet. And, you guys really explained to me that this has never been done before. It's having not some kind of 3D render or some illustration on the front cover of a very it's one of the most popular video game magazines. It's
a dude.
A dude.
A real live dude.
On the front of a video game magazine.
Right.
And you're right. That never happens. And why? First of all, why Hideo Kojima? And you can tell me straight up. This isn't PR or anything.
Yeah.
And do you think this is just a start? I mean, are people going to accept Mizuguchi covers or Miyamoto covers or David Jaffe covers? You name it.
Well, it's hard to find people on the same level as Hideo Kojima. I mean, there's only a few. As far as OPM is concerned, specifically, it's going to be a very occasional thing because there's only so many PlayStation-specific creators. I mean, who else would we rank alongside Hideo Kojima? You'd probably talk about people like Shigeru Miyamoto, and after that you have to wonder, okay, well, who's had the greatest impact on the industry? for the longest amount of time. There's very few people like Hideo Kojima. And but does OPM want to continue to do this sort of thing? Yes. There are some developers out there who are not known for their development on PS2 or any PlayStation platform that may or may not, let's say, develop for PS3. So if things like that happen, that may create a great opportunity. But it all depends on the person. But I do know that that's something that OPM wants to continue.
Yeah, it's cool seeing a dude on the front of a video game magazine.
The big motivation behind this is that, okay, well, how many video game magazines come out every month? You know, it's like, and what really distinguishes them? You know, I mean, people today, I don't know what the general, you know, if they can really tell the difference in quality between one magazine from another. So you can't count on the quality of your editorial alone. You've got to do things differently. And what we wanted to do with Kojima was kind of celebrate the culture of the game industry more rather than specific games and say, you know, oh, well, it moves at 60 frames per second. It's got great textures while the light sourcing is kick-ass.
Right.
You know, we want to really get behind the culture and the and the things that make the video game industry tick, you know, breathe, and, you know, it's a constantly changing format. So we wanted to get Kojima because he's got to be one of the biggest names, you know. And with Metal Gear Solid 4, it was, and the trailer just having come out, it was the perfect time to put Kojima on the cover.
Right. Yeah, it went down on at his place, which was a really cool opportunity too to see
his actual apartment.
Right.
That was cool.
Right.
You know, with all his New Order records framed,
right.
And he actually had that. What I really like to see was that cover of GMR when we did Metal Gear Solid 3.
Right.
He had that framed and on the wall.
Right. And I promise you, we didn't put it up the night before.
Oh, I know. I actually heard about that a year or two previous from one of Konami's former PR people that told me, "Oh my God, you will not believe this, but he's actually got that cover that you guys designed of Metal Gear Solid for GMR on his apartment wall." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
And
that's
that was your,
cool.
you know, your old stopping grounds with the GMR days.
Yeah, and like I have to say that cover was mostly mine because I fought to have that image that was on the cover of Snake coming through the jungle, and I didn't really want to mess with it. I didn't want to obscure anything. We made the logo camouflage and transparent, and so that was really one of my babies, I think.
Yeah, it really did have that theme of camouflage and the jungle. It just looked awesome.
Yeah.
It still looks awesome.
I was proud of that one.
You know, I've been complaining about this a lot, but E3 prep, I mean, it's tough for developers, it's tough for writers.
Yeah.
What's this E3 looking like to you?
This year's E3,
yeah,
like
we're about about a month away from it.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? What's the general feeling? Are you pumped for it like other years? I mean, what is Mielke's take 1 month before E3?
Well, I have a very bad perspective of E3 because now it's no longer, you know, fun. It's work. You know, and like I know that there's about 40 million kids out there who would rather be in my place than me, but objectively speaking, you know, if you're not tired of attending this huge industry event, it's going to be very exciting because I think we're going to finally see, you know, real PS3 demos, and hopefully the technology just doesn't result in games that just look better but are the same thing we've been playing for 10 years now. What I think is probably going to be more exciting, because we all know that Sony's very successful. They create powerful hardware. They sometimes occasionally support their peripherals, but I think the real exciting thing is what's going to happen with Nintendo's Revolution. I mean, all we have to do on the website is say Revolution, and we've got another 100,000 hits. It's almost too easy, but
you don't want to milk that too much.
You don't want to milk it too much. Just a little touch. But you know how I look at it. When the DS first came out, it had a very mediocre launch lineup of software. All right, Super Mario DS, great. I totally wanted to play this game again. But you know, people were like, okay, the 3D is kind of not great.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do with this? You know?
The machine didn't actually look too cool. It didn't look super dorky, but it wasn't as sexy as Reggie Fils-Aimé suggested it was. And people, I think, were pretty down on it, initially. And then, all this anticipation about the PSP because it was sleek, it was multimedia.
Yeah, when you compare it side by side, it's no competition. You know?
Just from an aesthetic perspective,
exactly.
The consumer was looking at the PSP like, okay, well, this is where it's going, and people thought, well, handhelds are Nintendo's last line of defense against, just being dominated by Sony. But now you look at the DS. I mean, you play Brain Age and you hold it like a book, and and it's unlike anything you've ever done. If you play Metroid Prime Hunters, like that might have the most perfect controls in a first-person shooter ever. It's stunning technologically. Nintendogs, the microphone and all that stuff. All the games. People are really taking advantage of it now, and the DS has one of the best lineup of games I think in the history of video gaming right now. And you know how long Nintendo supports their handhelds. Right. This thing is not going to go away for another 10 years. Mm. And now the DS Lite came out in Japan, and you cannot get a hold of one.
Have you gotten one yet?
No, I can't get a hold of one.
You got to stand in line, buddy.
No way.
You got to go online. You got to go on HIDECHAN, and you got to find out where the next shipment's going.
I'm not that dedicated. Not anymore. Too old for that. I'll get somebody else to stand online.
You know who we should bring in? We should bring in Shinta Nojiri.
Yeah.
To talk about his adventures of getting his DS. It's quite embarrassing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He is it Cho Hazukashi?
It's Cho Hazukashi. Yeah, I love your Japanese.
Yeah. Only when I'm around you do I actually Americanize it to the point where it's gross. Right.
That's a nice Shiro-y cap you're wearing there.
Yeah, this cap is totally Shiro. People can't see it. That's the disappointing thing about blogs is that they can't see her hat.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Where'd you get it? It's Cho Styrish.
I picked it up last week, or 2 weeks ago when I was in Australia for a night.
Oh, look at you traveling.
Yeah, doing on E3 business.
Oh, really?
Right.
Riri? Oh, nice.
And so we're going to be at E3 with some really cool stuff to show.
Yeah?
And new stuff.
You've got some, you've got a couple, it's not just MGS4.
Not just MGS4.
You got some stuff.
We got some stuff, and you're going to be there interviewing, right?
Yep. It's really amazing to see, Westerners enter Japanese studios. And, I have my, our friend Andy.
Yeah, a good buddy.
Who works over at Team Ninja. He's been given quite a bit of responsibility by Tomonobu Itagaki, which is pretty flattering since he is a young fella, just like you. And, you also have entered on a parallel level Kojima Productions, and you've been entrusted with quite a lot of, responsibility. And stuff that considering how conservative Japanese development teams usually are, I remember Jake, our pal Jake, who worked over at United Game Artists.
Right, with Mizuguchi.
With Mizuguchi, and it was largely based on his ideas where Rez came from,
mm-hmm.
But it's not common, So to have
the exception to the rule, definitely
is definitely an exception to the rule. But it's great to see that. Two of my friends have joined Japanese development teams and are not just manual translator or the guy in the back who designs levels and does a very minor part. Both you guys have stepped it up and landed in some really, really amazing spots. So it's great to see.
Yeah, well, Andy's doing some very exciting stuff for Team Ninja.
Yeah,
and I hope to be on that level soon.
I don't think you're far off, man. I mean, Kojima trusted you enough to put you right in the mix almost from the start. I mean, within 3 or 4 months, that's fast. So
yeah, it is.
That's cool.
I'm really lucky to be here, and but on the other hand, yeah, it's sure it's the exception to the rule, but it makes sense because you have a whole team of 100 Japanese men and women putting together a game, and having a certain feature might make sense to them, but to announce to a foreigner. Well, here's a simple example. Yeah. Why is it on all games but Metal Gear when you play it in the States, when you select something you push the X button,
right?
But they do it the Japanese style. up until now, they've done the Japanese style where the circle button means yes.
Yes, and then X is the back out of the menu.
And what's up with that? Why are we still doing that? And
I don't know, but
we need to have that kind of voice. And things are changing. So our upcoming game is the Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel that we showed at Gamers Day. That's going to have, I think, the first time in the series history on a PlayStation platform where
confirmations happen with X?
X.
No way.
This is huge. This is megaton.
Yeah, it is. But and it's amazing that it's actually taken this long to happen. I don't understand either why American versions of games use X to confirm and Japanese versions use circle. It's just a very bizarre thing.
I think I can maybe explain it.
Oh yeah.
In Japanese, they say the circle. They say it's maru, and circle means correct. It means, but more so than circle means correct, it's X means no way.
Oh really?
Right. And so if you see how people
I'm making an X sign right now.
Right, with your arms or with their fingers, they see this.
And I'm like, no way.
No way.
Right?
And
and you're like, Maru, way.
I'm like, way.
Yeah.
Maru, circle, way. But yeah, you go down the street and a police officer's trying to tell you that
you can't go there.
You can't go that way. There's construction or something. And rather than to speak Japanese to you, he assumes you don't speak Japanese and just puts up the fingers and like an X, like he's universal, or just it's the universal sign within Japan of no way.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, in the States, X often means like check, yes. X marks the spot. So there's a little bit of a cultural difference. And
I see where you're coming from. That explains why, when to bring F11 up, when somebody's got a C comment, you can examine people, and they'll say whether or not they've got access to this area or access to that area, and if they do, they'll put a circle. Yes, I've got it. If they don't, they'll say no, I don't. X.
Right.
So it does make sense.
And this gets into a really cool conversation I had with Nojiri when he was working on Acid 2, and he came to my desk and he's like, Ryan, we're making this game. We want it to be international, but we don't have time to switch up everything. He was trying to think of a way to make it so that they won't have to change those graphics for each version of the game depending on where it's released in the world. And so that's why in Acid 2, the buttons are represented by thumbs up and thumbs down, and they just have to switch those thumbs up and thumbs down. So on the Japanese, the circle button is thumbs up, and they just swap it. So they have to do the language, like change cancel and change it to whatever cancels in Spanish and French and German. So
it's the universal language of thumbs. I mean, people know.
And it was interesting to talk to him about what other ways other than having a thumbs up. What other ways can you tell them that X means yes? I mean, other than thumbs up. I mean, we were thinking of smiley face, frowny face. I mean, coming up with all these crazy ideas, but that ended up being the best one. And it was a lot of fun to have that kind of brainstorming session. And
it's amazing, people probably don't realize all the things that go into game development. Like you'd actually have to sit down and have a brainstorming session about that.
Right.
All right, we don't have time to replace all the text and everything. So what kind of visual aid can we add in to solve, to be the solution for this problem?
Right.
Yeah.
And it gets even more crazy than that, even more detailed. Well, let's cut it right here.
Okay.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about next week, so don't want to spoil it. No spoilers here.
Right.
So, thanks for joining me. We'll be back next week. Be sure to check out the Kojima Productions Report.
All right. See you in 7.
See ya.